Why haven't we done a podcast in so long? I hear the people are saying we fell off.
The people are saying we fell off.
I just made that up.
Okay. Because I'd love to know which people even observe enough or have a way of communicating. Actually, that's the thing, like, there's not much of a communication medium between us and the audience.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Like, okay, if we did a poll, the only thing we have is Instagram stories. Other than that, there's no real easy way for us to do or to reach out to find out. Like, there's no discourse between us
Well,
through
there is,
RSL.
in a certain extent. I mean, we read every comment, respond to pretty much every message. So I'd say that's more
Okay.
communication than a lot of these pages have like a person doing it. It's not even the people in front of the camera actually interacting with the audience.
Yeah.
Every single reply is from one of us.
Well, I think Rob Dahm still does his own comment section. Kind of hoping that he does read my comment I put on his video recently. Nah, because actually, this is, I guess, a good first topic. So, as you may know, this is Rob Dahm's third year at the Pikes Peak.
I didn't know that. I haven't been following as closely as I used to.
Okay, so first year, uh, it was a rush thing for him because he started off with 12 rotor stuff and then, like, out the blue, through top gear, he was able to get onto Pikes Peak for the first time.
So, for context, if anybody doesn't know, Pikes Peak, probably the most famous hill climb in the world.
Yeah.
Some of the most incredible cars you'll ever see, just built to take on a crazy slope at insane speeds.
Yes.
And if you fail, you fly off the side of a mountain. So, it's fun.
Yeah, and the elevation change is also crazy. The weather change is also crazy. You can go
Yep.
from
You have to build an engine to basically adapt to having no air
yeah,
midway through.
and the thing that you wouldn't really think about is the weather change is immense. You go from starting at regular 20 degrees Celsius, 25, and you get snow in some parts of the mountain during the race.
That's mad.
Right? You can get hailstorms at some points because it's the elevation change allows the temperature to drop such a significant amount. And the other battle that people tend to fight, it would be air density changes. So, sure, you may have tuned your car for sea level, and at sea level, your car is pushing a steady 600. But at the top of the mountain, I think it's like 14,000 feet. Do not remember the numbers. But your power output can drastically drop. It is a noticeable amount, and you're going up a hill as well, so you need your horsepower. But yeah,
Light electric cars are OP there.
yes. For
But
many
anyway,
reasons.
so Rob,
So Rob, first year was a rush. Notably for that first year, he was gunning for the Rotary record, which was set by Mad Mike.
really?
Yes.
Hmm.
And
I
Rob,
didn't know Mad Mike did a proper run. I just thought he like drifted.
I don't know what he did. Maybe he did a proper run. Maybe he did a drift run. I don't know.
You would have to a proper run to have the rotary record, I think.
Yeah. And Rob in his first year came really close to it.
Hmm.
But each year he has reliability issues, and his vehicle that he's using is not the famous for rotor, because while that is potentially a very powerful vehicle, it handles like garbage. He tried to emulate the Unicorn, but it didn't quite work all that well. And thus, his three-rotor vehicle is his first car, I believe, or first RX-7. I think it's his first car, which he has transformed over the years. Any all testing he has done on that vehicle, and now has in a three-rotor
Yeah, I
turbo
know that car well.
that
The
has
OG RX-7.
a lot of things.
And it was mainly a drag car, I think.
Yes.
Which, to put that into a Pikes Peak car is quite something.
Yeah, and the suspension on it was still relatively no, not relatively. The suspension on it initially, not initially, suspension on it was the RX-7 suspension, which from factory is phenomenal. and so he had a good base to turn it into time attack vehicle. Still makes crazy amounts of power, but over the last 3 years he has been learning and finding ways to improve upon it, and his biggest challenge has been heat. Reliably getting the car to drive and power steering. He has his car does not like power steering to stay intact as well either. Whereby first year his power steering belt was just rattling, popping, and then this year now his power steering pump, said we gone, and just sprayed power steering fluid on his windshield halfway out the ramp.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
So my guy was flying relatively blind going up the hill because of power steering fluid on his windshield.
I mean, you grew up playing PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games.
So you think the pixels
You can adapt to, the lack of pixels.
But the heat management on his vehicle is certainly something. People may or may not know a rotary engine produces a lot more heat than a piston engine. Sounds cool, but fundamentally is more inefficient than a piston engine. So it requires more air to make the same amount of horsepower, more fuel, more everything. I mean, these cars have 2 spark plugs, 2 fuel injectors, and sometimes just 2 rotors. So 2 spark plugs per rotor, 2 injectors per rotor, and just 2 rotors. So the primary sometimes he wants for low impedance could be a 550. Fun fact, some people put Subaru 550cc injectors into their RSL and 2 rotors because they're side feed injectors and they fit. It's a little bit. Anyways, their primaries are 550s. My only injector sometimes is a 550, whereas the secondary now, they're bigger ones that are for when you're at higher demand that kicks in. So, and those can be thousands or whatever, depending on your setup. So in Rob's case, he has like 2000 cc's injectors in his secondary. Nonetheless, Rotary's inefficient.
So what are the benefits? Sorry, I seem distracted. This bee is just buzzing me.
Yeah, it's nighttime, so you're fine.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be attacked by the wildlife on camera.
Get attacked by him.
He had a threatening look to him.
Right. Anyways, why rotaries? They are very naturally balanced because of how you have the rotors firing in terms of the order which you fire. So thus you can get great primary and secondary harmonics, especially if you stack the rotors as well. So for rotor, for example, is immensely well balanced, and also it can sound like piston engines that have multiple pistons. So a 4 rotor can sound like a V8, the F1 V8s that rev to like 10, 12, 15,000 RPM. But the 4 is revving to 8,000, 10,000 RPM, but sounds like the V8 F1 cars.
Yeah.
Mazzy Formula, for example, with his 5 rotor, sounds like a V10.
The most famous one would be the Mazda Le Mans car,
right?
787B.
Yes, and that one is a 4 rotor. That car is fascinating in many ways, such as the variable runners, intake runners, to adjust as it goes through the RPM range instead of VBT. It has variable runners to optimize the runner length per RPM. So you have an NA car that's always getting the right airflow velocity. That's just one of the things that made the 4 rotor on that 787B so nice.
Speaking of the 787B, what do you think is more interesting? Le Mans cars, like LMP prototypes, or F1 cars?
I have no clue anything about Le Mans cars. I don't know any technology. I just know one really crazy one that has no class anymore, which is the Porsche 919 Evo 9.
Well, The thing about that car is they retired it, and then they decided, yeah, we're gonna break all the rules now and just try to beat all the lap records.
Yeah. And the lap record that most notably broke was in Nordschleife.
I wish there was a class for racing like that, like how Group B rallying was, but
Yeah.
for circuit cars. Like just
It
take away most of the constraints, let people do whatever the hell they want. But I
they
think
came and go. They come and go sometimes because it's hard to regulate. Because if you say, "Oh, yeah, you have no rules," and it just becomes the person with the most money, and that's why F1 became what it is now.
well, then you can regulate by budget. But yeah, I mean it's a tough balance
Yeah.
making racing interesting. I mean, what would F1 be without Drive to Survive? Just some unknown European racing sport like it was 2010, 5 years ago.
What incarnations are you on about?
F1 wasn't mainstream until Drive to
I
Survive came
strongly
around.
disagree. It was a mainstream with a certain generation pocket, or a certain niche of people.
I'm
But
talking about our generation.
I still strongly don't agree with that one.
I mean, you are a car enthusiast, so it's different. But
I
I'm
didn't
talking
watch F1 because of Drive to Survive. Neither did I watch it F1 because of. I started with
I'm
F1.
talking about the way how F1 now has popularity with people who aren't even fans of cars. I don't think that was such a big thing before Drive to Survive. Because what Drive to Survive did was it made F1 relatable in a weird way, or it gave insight into what's going on behind the scenes. Who are these people? Who are these guys in the helmets racing around these cars?
You're the only person I know of that watches Drive to Survive.
I don't watch Drive to Survive. I used to. I watched like season 1 or 2. I tried to watch the new season, but I was just like, this is boring. It's like reality TV for F1.
Yeah, the people that are around me that watch F1 watch it because of F1, not because of Drive to Survive.
Okay. You might be the wrong person to discuss this with. See that? He just tried to attack you.
Anyways,
That beat just did a little
the
fast.
if Rob Dahm point, why is the comment I made long-winded topic basically rotary, real hot. It's melting stuff like things you wouldn't expect to melt or melting because of the high temps of exhaust gas temps. He's going through turbos, he's going through melting wastegates, etc.
So he should LS swap it.
And that would completely mess with so many different things about that vehicle. Like weight distribution, like the weighted vehicle, like bro, he even cut into the firewall to push the 3-rotor to back to what the 2-rotor was distributing weight axle wise. So you could push it back and down to lower center of gravity and also push it more centered. So because of the 3-rotor, it was over the steering rack and stuff like that. Whereas the 2-rotor is not. So you cut into his firewall so the 3-rotor can go backwards. And as a result, because it's not need to be over the steering rack, it can be no steering rack and no thing. He's able to push it down and down, lower center of gravity. Things like that. So LS, no. LS would not work well for that specific scenario.
Yeah, obviously.
And to try to turbo that LS as well, to be able to do Pikes Peak, it is going to be a lot of work to make it drive well. At least drive as well as it does now.
Yeah, I mean, Rob Dahm, the king of the rotaries, is not going to LS swap. But
yeah, so I can't remember specifically like what really crazy thing he was melted because of the exhaust gas temp, but yeah, he has cooked a few turbos in a row because of heat issues and oil issues because everything inside the turbo got too hot, so it cooked oil and things like that. So he started to do water injection, but spraying onto the intercoolers, spraying on the oil coolers, and spraying onto the turbo as well. One time tried to spray onto the fins, the other time at the iteration spray onto the actual core to try to keep that temperature down. And the comment I left on his second last video, was try out water injection into the engine, and specifically look at the, isn't that lovely? It's raining, actual rain.
Actual rain, not fake rain. We spent $5,000 on fake rain, so kind of pissed off. It's really raining right now. Waste all that money on the set for prop rain for nothing. BWA diverted water from people in St. Andrew for this.
Right. Anyways, yeah. So I wanted to look into that because he's battling. At the end of the day, the exhaust gas temps is what's cooking him. It's because the exhaust gas temps on this reorder it's so significantly higher than this engine. Everything else is a cascading effect. When Bosch did the R&D for BMW for the BMW M4 GTS, they noted a couple cool factors that you would not have really been able to analyze unless you did the testing. So water methanol injection, popular in these days, and Achille knows of it. A cool fact about that is in Achilles' vehicle, in Barbados temps, he can get 17 degrees Celsius intake temps because of the water injection. And you would think, wow, that's amazing. And then if you were to inject pure water, you can get maybe 30 to 25 degrees Celsius. You're saying, okay, water injection must be superior. Sorry, water methanol injection is superior. Where the little chemistry lesson here. Water, when it evaporates, absorbs more energy than methanol or a lot of different compounds in the world. It's just a super fantastic thing. You need to get the water to evaporate. Your intake air is not hot enough to evaporate the water. But what is? Combustion. So you aren't going to notice the actual effect of water injection until it gets in combustion chamber, when it actually evaporates. When water evaporates, so imagine if water methanol, in an intake chamber can get you to 17 degrees. Now, methanol is worse off than pure water. Imagine what pure water is going to give you when it actually evaporates, the energy absorption. A little fun fact for you. You know, when people like to say, AFRs are, you're supposed to have 11 to 1 AFR or 12 to 1 AFR or whatever when you're going wide open throttle. Ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Cool. The stoichiometric value, i.e., when you combust theoretically, all of the ratio of oxygen to gasoline is 14.7 to 1. So 14.7 air molecules to 1 molecule of gasoline. That's the stoichiometric value. However, to keep things safe, we reduce that. We do our air fuel ratios to be 11.3, 12, i.e. it's a richer, so you have fewer air molecules to the gasoline particle. Therefore, it's a cooler burn. That is done because of the risk of you making the combustion chamber too hot. Combustion chamber is too hot, pistons and things can melt, and the metal can melt, and you have a detonation, seized up engine, variety of rods flying out, etc. Detonation is just not a good time.
Yeah.
The water injection temperature absorption ability plus the NOx suppression. There's two different things that is actually causing NOx suppression plus temperature reduction. Bosch on regular pump gas was able to get 14.7 to 1 AFR with the water injection. Thus, you can put your foot down and you're burning less gas than you would have. So your power is fuel efficient, and you get that clean burn at wide open throttle because of the water injection. Additionally, the exhaust gas temperature was noticeably lower. Exhaust gas temperature being lower just helps a whole bunch of things. You have less back pressure, which affects valves. You have your entire turbo system. Yes, you like to have heat in your turbo, but there's a point where it's too much. So just a lower temperature of your exhaust gas temperature is just overall better. So the water is doing so much amazing things. And why did it not continue? Probably because the fact that it's they being BMW. It requires a lot of maintenance on the person's end, and also the fact that they need to compensate for many different climates. And water in any climate that's not around the equator or around the tropics of Cancer or Capricorn is a pain, because it will evaporate, it will freeze, and when water freezes in lines, you have burst pipes and just condensation and a bunch of different issues. Whereas we are lucky in that regard, where we don't have to deal with that variance of temperature. So an OEM needing to compensate for such things is like, probably, you know what, we're not doing that again. But the R&D was still, I'm trying to implement that. Jason King is also trying to implement that. He's the one that led me on to look at that white paper, that research paper that Bosch published. And when I saw that, I was like, yo, imagine you don't do that for ethanol, for example. Because they were just doing it for regular pump gas that you get from a gas station. You get stuff that is genuinely very knock resistant, and you aim for that perfect stoichiometric value. You got some crazy amounts of power potentially they can unlock. Ethanol burns cooler in general. Like, so many different things you know get an advantage of. Going back to Rob Dahm, if he uses the water injection correctly, the things he was doing is spraying on his intercoolers and spraying on the spray it on the blades of the turbo. That's fine. But put the R&D into putting it in direct water injection, and you're going to gain some significant benefits, some gains to lowering your EGTs, which then all that stuff you're doing, you got, like you saying you want to do an inclinal turbo manifold, sure, and go ahead. But he had to remove, or he initially had a titanium exhaust. Because the EGTs were so bad, it was cooking inside his cabin. The heat went into him, and he was actually experiencing like 115 degrees Fahrenheit within his car when he's doing a run, because of the titanium exhaust underneath the vehicle. Because of flat bottom, the exhaust couldn't cool down. And it was just causing fires of everything around it, melting everything in sight, wires, no matter what. So for him, especially given the inefficiency of a rotary, that water injection, maybe depends on your R&D, would be fantastic. So I was like, I really would love him to read that comment, because he's now dabbling into water injection. He's now getting into it.
So if we title this YouTube video, Rob Dahm, please read our comment.
Yeah.
He might.
Yeah.
The message might get to it.
And
putting out the bat signal, the dumb signal.
Yeah, because the water injection strategy, I don't fully have my head wrapped around like what is the perfect amount of water to inject. It's kind of hurting your head a little bit.
It's crazy Rob Dahm turned into such a phenomenon in the Rotary community. I mean, he was always big into rotaries, but I remember when his famous car was the Yellow Diablo.
Right.
And I feel like probably a lot of his fans now might not even know that car.
I mean, you still see it in the car in the video.
Yeah, but it's like, he's not driving that on camera anymore. It's all about the rotaries.
And
I remember when he was making videos about just trying to enjoy his Diablo and random people crashing into him all the time. Or some shit was always happening with the Lamborghini.
I'm trying to remember
Poor
if
car.
I discovered Rob before or after the Hong Kong race, and I think it was before.
I knew him from way before.
Yeah.
Like back when his engine was still lost by UPS, like, and it was
Yeah.
years before he had any updates on it.
But
That's the thing about building cars yourself. It's such a task. Like manufacturers, they have, I think people take it for granted, they have hundreds and thousands of people all working together to make this one car happen within like a 2 to 5 year period.
yeah, and what I will commend is his marketing style. Sometimes he can market stuff well to convince you that, you know, this is the best thing since sliced bread. And those who already know.
Well, is it marketing that well, or is it just like somebody you trust explaining something in a way that makes sense?
Why do I trust him?
Because you've seen his work.
Because of the marketing style that he presents.
Yeah, but like, what is the marketing style? What is it about the marketing?
That someone that you have grown a... Actually, Gears of Gasoline is a great example. They did an episode where the psychology behind viewer watching stuff, like watching the videos, and why audience actually care what he thinks. Like that Gears of Gasoline episode. This man is taking the you start off the episode and saying, I've been reading, doing some reading, and I started reading a psychology book. And he starts to list off the definitions of various things. So you would list off this definition and proceeds to do exactly what that definition does within the video. And it ties into the actual content of what he's presenting. And it genuinely was hilarious. He presented his quad lock stuff like me, quad lock, PWR, and ENA. That's all parts. I know them. Am I ever going to buy Mad Max? Probably not, because I don't live in America. However, if I had a chance, I probably would buy from PWR because of Gears and Gasoline and their presentation on marketing. So that's one style of learning. Whereas Rob Dahn's style is he gets you to believe that this is genuinely the best thing since sliced bread, right? And the way he presents it gets you to believe it. Some may not like it because you may think he's lying or, you know, talking over his face, be like that. I'm a direct victim of Rob Dahn's presentation style. I believe we are one of the best things like since sliced bread. Has my engine blown up? No. So,
Can I just interject and say it's the third time you've mentioned sliced bread, and I can't help but think how the times have changed when that was the best type of bread, and now sliced bread is looked upon with disgust by any bread connoisseur.
yeah,
You want fresh, unsliced bread.
yeah.
You want to choose your own thickness.
Okay.
I like my toast thick, personally.
I'm sure you do.
I don't like the way that came off, but
I didn't even study that part, but sure. Yeah. I'll find another thing to say because I've said it too many times and I know you made it.
no, you can use a saying. I don't care.
And yeah, Haltech plus VR1 Valvoline. Like because of him, I believe those are for universal things, the best products for those items. Do I still believe Haltech is the best thing? No. Haltech is the best thing for certain things. And even then, Haltech's technologies, they're good consumer products. They're just really good consumer products and emphasize on the good part. When you then dive into other things, M-Tron, for example. M-Tron then takes it from being good to adding other things that make it great. And what then makes it great is the customization. Haltech makes it easy to get good strategies in your car.
So for context, what Haltech do you have in the Subaru again?
I have a Haltech Nexus R3.
Right. And
And
that allows you to do what?
that allows me to control
Everything.
most of my engine harness. Not everything. No, not say everything. If I were to strip out all the wiring on that car, I will not be able to control that entire car using R3. It does not have enough input and outputs.
Ah,
The
fair enough.
R5, however, it does, and even R5 still may need a PDM, a power distribution module, for some of the additional auxiliary car functions. The Haltech can control headlights, wipers, dash, indicators, you name it. It can. The R3 does not have the inputs and outputs to handle such. I've maxed up my inputs and outputs.
So it doesn't control everything about the engine?
Yes, with the aid of existing OEM functions. For example, the starter relay. The ECU doesn't actually tell the starter how much voltage to do, how much this and that. It actuates the starter relay, which then in body harness says, okay, this is the functional things to do to start the car. This is what relays to turn on, turn off when the ignition switch is on. So we actuate this relay. It then initiates the set of commands. That's like, I was going to give an analogy of a computer, whereby when you press the power button, that's like, say, does your power button actually turn on your computer? No, it activates the switch, which then initiates the instructions to turn on your computer. So the Haltech still leverages a lot of body harness and a lot of OEM functions. Yeah, so the R2 specifically in my vehicle.
And you've been tuning yours using the power. Your tuner currently is Sam Altman from OpenAI.
Actually, I'm not going to say that. AI is powerful, but to think, even though I can do a lot of processing of the information going on in the car through the AI, so I taught my AI how to process the logs in the car, as also to create maps of the car. So
How many logs have you fed into this?
I haven't counted recently because last week it generated maybe like 20 or 30. But before that, it was like 40 hours worth of logs before I had the last metric. Now how many it is? Maybe closer to 55, 60.
Fair amount of data.
Yeah. And maps, I think we're at, I don't know what number map we're at, which is like AI graded maps. However, the AI is retarded. It's dumb. It is.
Just like us.
No, I'm not gonna say that. The AI is retarded in that. So recently, I was trying to tune the idle on the vehicle. Why? When I got the car tuned with Jason in October, November last year, we realized my idle control valve was not doing a very good job of being an idle control valve. It was doing whatever it felt like. So what we did was we broke apart a pen, we stuck the shaft open, shove it back in, so it's force closed, so boost won't shut it and things like that. And then we use the throttle stop to crack open the throttle blade enough that it can idle using throttle blade cracked open at all times, whether it's cold or hot. And then controlled where the RPM was within reason using ignition timing. Thus, the ignition timing will control how much torque each combustion is creating, and thus the torque would determine the RPM within range. So that was how the car was running for a while. You wouldn't have guessed.
That's quite something.
You would not have guessed, unless you like really know how vehicles are supposed to sound and things like that. You would not have guessed that this car was ignition timing based out of control. But I say no. I spent 70 US, bought a brand new one, confirmed that the other one broke because it went bad and not because the wiring and ECU. How did I confirm that? Oh yeah, I broke another control valve. It was kind of hilarious when I did it, to be honest with you. So plugged it in, and I just said, "Yeah, give me 50%," and I saw it move 50%. Give me 40. I saw it move 40. I had it outside. Just plugged it in. And I say, "Give me 100." I should have had that on camera. They just extend it. Thing just shot the shaft over. Like, oh, yeah, kind of makes sense because it's usually expected to have resistance. So when I saw anything moving, I was like, well, it's a good thing that's not the one that is supposed to be put inside the car. Yo,
So wait, what, you had two?
I have 3 in total.
Oh, okay.
The one installed in the car that has the pencil mod. Another one that I bought thinking the one that was pencil modded back when I first got the car was actually bad. So I bought an OEM one from eBay, and both the pencil modded one and the eBay one had the same results on the OEM ECU. So I was like, well, clearly it's not the pencil modded one. So I just had that OEM one just lying around. And when I put in the OEM one back in November, it was giving the same results as the pencil modded one. So I thought maybe both of them are just dead. And so, yeah, turns out the pencil mod, the OEM one was fine, and I could still shoot itself out to oblivion.
The joys of project car building.
Anyways, so I laughed. I looked around for the pencil shaft, not pencil shaft, the out of control valve shaft. Couldn't find it. Like, well, moving on smartly. Took out the pencil shaft one, put in a new one, and got to idle tuning. I learned a lot that day. My brain.
What's that, like last week?
Week before. I think. Yeah, maybe week before. Yeah. But I learned a lot that Sunday. The daily track day. Whatever day that was. One, I learned how a throttle stop worked. It's not that fancy at all. It's quite basic, to be honest with you. It's literally a screw that pushes against the blade. You could, on cable throttles, you get the spring stuff, and you just turn the spring stuff is, it's sort of throttle stop pushes on that same piece of metal.
I see.
I was like, really? I hate thinking the throttle stop, some fancy intricate channels of blades and things and blah 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 whatever inside the throttle body. I'm like, really? This is all it is? Anyways, so yeah, I adjusted that. I learned how to adjust it on the fly. Initially I was trying to adjust it so the car really idled, like the lowest amount. And then I would adjust so I would fully shut the idle control valve and then adjust the throttle blade, the throttle stop, so that it's open enough just to barely let the car idle. Spoke to Jason. He was like, yeah, well, the proper way is completely back it off, so it's not touching the throttle blade anymore, throttle thingy anymore. Then get it touch, and one more turn, and that should put you at 0.5 volts. So I redid it. I did not get 0.5 volts. I got 0.28. I was like, okay. I did a full rotation, got 0.38. I was like, Mr. King, I do the full steps like twice, and I still didn't get 0.5. So we're getting on here. So yeah. What else did I learn that day? Oh yeah, back to AI stuff. So in my head, I'm thinking, AI is data. It processes data. That is the root of artificial intelligence. It is an application of machine learning. Machine learning is you have data, statistics, and you use programs to be able to digest the data so you can find trends using what you already have here. You find trends. AI is now, you've taken these trends, you've processed these trends, and you're extrapolating and you're doing things based on what you have previously learned. That is AI in basic. So, an open loop table is you have at You say that's for either control, an open loop either control. I'm missing, you see?
No, you're not. I was up early for work, so.
For an
I
open loop
know,
table
man.
for either control, is temperature based, coolant temperature specifically. So you say at 20 degrees Celsius, you're going to command 50% on your either control. That means there's going to be 50%. In my case, 50% closed or 50% open. 50% open. Right? And when you do that, you then see what the result is, but you're just commanding 50%, you're not commanding the RPM. That's open loop. So you would just say, okay, I know at 20 degrees, 50% gives me 1200 RPM. At 7 degrees, 50% gives me 2300 RPM. It kind of is, probably is like that on my vehicle, if I'm honest with you. Because that either control of commands a lot of air. It can give me a lot of air, between 0 and 100%. I don't know why. I'm happy for it. It means I can do cool stuff like rotary, rotation idle and things like that, anti-lag, without having to. Anyways.
Are you gonna do anti-lag? Is that gonna blow up your engine?
Not an engine, it's turbo. So, we'll see when we get there.
Get a sacrificial turbo just to run an anti-lag tune.
There's one inside, that's the Romano.
There you go.
Would it?
Use it for the race against Dane.
That's not gonna do anything for that race. That turbo's so small.
It means you can spool faster.
Then you won't need anti-lag.
It's fun. Looks good in the video.
I'm sure it does.
You know it does.
I don't think my valves will like it very much. So okay.
Well, that's exactly what I was asking you about. Isn't it gonna destroy your engine?
Yeah, it does a lot of things. Yes.
Yeah, it's not just turbo.
Yeah. Anyways, that's open loop in a nutshell. So I thought, log the car, and well, operating temp, because we got to start from operating temp, which is like 80 to 90 degrees Celsius, 80 to 90 degrees Celsius of coolant temp. So yeah, it's like, let's start from 0%. 0% should give me nothing. Like, car should not idle at all. Because that's fully closed, and if I set my throttle stop, right, no air is coming into the engine. And so I started at 50%. 50%, 40%. Sorry, 50%. Yeah, 40%. And kept going through at the 10% increments. It's like, you AI should know, you should have this information be able to interpolate the graph that I've given you of the open loop table. From there, you should be able to interpolate, okay, given this is how it is, let me guesstimate, given I know how the engine demand has been for the last however long, give you a closed loop table. You would think now that's how it worked. No, it's not. But the map is on that right now. It is basically the map that Haltech gave me when I first got that car. The idle control map. I literally eventually had to look at the idle base map, because the foolishness that every time I do a iteration from the AI, logs the RPM gets these moves, and it just loop. Sorry, cool. Do the log, come back out, give me the ANX AI map. Car barely start. I'm like, alright, cool. Do another iteration, back in the sky. I'm like, bro, do you not know how to do data interpolation? So eventually I tell myself, look, I gotta learn on the truth. The first mistake I made was thinking I could just do that interpolation thing in the open loop and then just hop straight to closed loop. Nah. In any and every table in your vehicle, if there's an open loop option and there's a closed loop option, like you could go from open loop to closed loop. Master open loop. You must get that master, because closed loop is not meant to just fill in the blinds. You aren't supposed to say, man, I want 1500 RPM. I know we'll do the second supposed to be. You know, say, well, we guess at 30. And expect every single time your car is gonna realize, are you at 30? We're trying to get to this RPM. the car ain't nowhere near this RPM, and then you expect the computer to just figure out how to get there without any additional evidence, you're not going to have a great time. Relying on the reactivity of the engine is going to cause you to have that up and down.
You think tuning is the most difficult part of building a car?
Nah, it's figuring out problems. You will be pulling out your hair for ever and ever. Actually,
Yeah, but what type of problems?
why things aren't working.
Well, you can have all types of problems, you know, like suspension might not work, brakes might not work. But like, what do you think is the most?
All right, yes, tuning is the most difficult.
Yeah, I feel like the engine is the most complex part.
I shouldn't say tuning. Computer calibration for an engine, for a vehicle. Because something that Jason was saying to me is there's a difference between tuning and engine calibration or computer calibration.
Well, modern cars, you gotta say engine calibration for the computer because they're more computer than cars at this point.
I guess. But you can tune that. You can have a car that is barely idle and cold start. I met 700 horsepower. It can feel like pure foolishness when you road, but you met 700 horsepower. Back at 700 RPM is your limit is 7,000. You want to met that at 6,800 RPM. When torque come in, well, that's kind of hard. That's air-fueled torque always comes in at a certain point, like your peak torque because of engine physics. But the car feels retarded. Does not feel like a great time at all. But a well-calibrated ECU and engine, your vehicle may very well make 500, 450, but feels so much faster than a car that made 700.
Yeah, I mean, power, the number of power is one thing. Like, that looks good. It works like that in video games, but in the real world, it's about how much usable power do you have?
Yeah.
Because you have 700 horsepower at the top of the rev range. Even when you get there, you're going to be spinning tires, struggling to control. You got to shift, blah, blah, blah. But you have a bit less power in a more usable range.
Yeah. And
you
even
can actually put it to the floor without dancing all over the place.
Yeah. And
your car is faster.
That's even what I was thinking about when it comes to engine calibration, honestly. The engine calibration is that 2%, that 1% of refinement where when you swing that key on that car over there, on cold start, you might get start. On hot start, you hear start. Immediate. Some race cars you hear and when you start up. That is engine calibration.
Yeah, certain fuels as well. It's harder to start with it.
Engine calibration. Mechanically, what states an E85 at cold start, if refined well, can't start at the middle first spark?
I have no idea.
Right? It is all about engine calibration. You can get it done. Koenigsegg does it. They advertise you. They tell you, if you want full power, go on E85. And that's a production vehicle.
Speaking of engine calibration, what about driver calibration? Because we in a country where a lot of people on the roads doing cunt right now. Left, right, and center. Just high-speed crashes. Like, I know you don't pay attention, so you don't be seeing the videos and photos going around, but a lot of people in hatchbacks just doing crazy shit. Not only the Swifts, it's the Notes as well. I mean, we drove one the other day. They're pretty zippy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, to you, what's the hardest part of being a good driver? Like what?
Knowing what actually the limit is. There's a difference between vehicle limit and physical limit. And sometimes you can get confused between Your physical limit and your vehicle limit.
When you say physical limit, what do you
Okay,
mean?
so me and you, we could drive the same vehicle. Yet somehow you are able to get that vehicle to drive much faster than I can. My physical limit is preventing me from driving the vehicle as fast as you can. Maybe in straight line, maybe going around
Alright,
corners.
so you mean like driver limit then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'd say there's 3 limitations whenever you're driving a car. You have the vehicle limit, the driver limit, and the road limit, road or track limit.
Okay, yeah.
And if you disrespect any one of those 3, you fuck up. There's a lot of people driving on Barbados roads who the vehicle limit is there. The car can do it.
Yeah.
A lot of these new cars can go real fast.
Yeah.
Around corners in a straight line. It don't take long to get up to 160.
Yeah.
180, some of them. And at that point, you're exceeding driver limit and you're exceeding the road limit, because a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to decelerate once you get to them speeds.
Yeah.
So then you end up in 100 km/h crash or some crazy shit with your car upside down on the West Coast, causing me inconvenience as I'm trying to go through my commute. Whoever it was that... Anyways, I don't call out individual crashes, but people gotta stop doing cunt. Understand the 3 limitations. Respect the road's limit. There's a lot of roads where you can't really do that much. And as people who've done a lot on those roads, like there is a limit where it's like you gotta ease it. You gotta ease off a bit.
Yeah. Road limit is a true thing.
I think that's the most important one, because like, yeah, driver limit, sure. Well, you could get away with a lot in the new cars these days. Even if you're not a good driver, you don't have to change gears. You don't even really have to stay in the lane. They got lane assist and all that crap going for you.
Yeah.
Traction control, stability control.
I mean, you felt that the other day.
Yeah. They make it harder to crash the cars, and the people seem to be crashing the cars more. So just like understand the limitation of the road. People be pushing on roads they don't even know, and then just like, oh shoot, I hit a bump and flew off at 120. Oh no. What now?
I ain't like that. That doesn't make me some flashbacks. So
that's the thing. I'm not saying I haven't done these things in my youth, but sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't.
Flashbacks like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yo, man, taking the S. I hate thinking myself, man. The way this roads, he's driving these roads, he got to know these roads. Ain't no way. You taking blind corners at these sort of aggressive speed. You have to know these roads. I refuse to believe anything else. How I know the man didn't know the roads? You push that crest as S. I don't know, I'm kind of a bridge thing. I see this crest, it's like, huh, okay. Man, reach the crest. You see road do so, I do so. I'm like, oh, okay. If you want to press brakes, if you want just do so. Whoosh. I was like, so we right now sideways in the middle of an S on a blind crest, and you just going to do this and say, brother, let me go on you so man. Cause I'm like, how you just gonna do this here? He's my voice, man, the car didn't do what I was expecting to do.
Oh wait, you were passenger?
Yeah.
That's tough. Boy.
I was like,
that's tough.
What do you mean I didn't do what we decided to do? What else is gonna do? Will you? That third drive had me so well. I'm mad for a clutch kick.
I'm real hesitant to get in cars with people, boy. I gotta see video proof that you're a good driver before I really
clutch kicking all the drive car.
People think they top drivers, but
I expect they to do anything else besides understeer. I'm like, yo, chief, it ain't gonna do nothing else besides understeer. What are you doing?
I feel like it does a lot of good to somebody to get in a car with a really, really good driver and have them push a vehicle to its limits, to really humble a person and show that you can't do this yet.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even understand what these machines are capable of.
Right.
but you want to push it. Like you gotta ease into those limits. You can't just turn it all the way up on a public
No.
road and just expect it to work out. It don't work. It don't work. So
I didn't really
get on the simulator or something.
I
Even
think
that.
so. I was like, we just so lucky there's no vehicle coming in the direction.
Yeah.
Take it late here, so brother. Take it late. Huh? Take it late, man.
It only takes one moment to end up in a pole.
Mind the entire driving matter lickety stuff inside the car. I was like, kind of impressed that it's possible. Tense, like, had I grab onto whatever I like grab onto. What?
This sounds like an Evo.
Evo?
Yeah.
I know.
Subaru.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. But what else is there? That was I followed just now. Oh yes, GR Corolla. So I want to have a conversation with you.
Who?
GR Corolla.
Oh yeah.
Manual versus automatic. Which one would you do? Yeah, which one would you get?
Manual.
Which one of them?
I just think it's more fun.
For daily?
Yeah, I mean it's a new car.
Okay.
I've dailied the Subaru, and it's a manual, and the manual aspect didn't bother me. It was the discomfort of the car in general. I was fine with changing gears in traffic. I mean, yeah, sure, once or twice when you're really tired, it might be a pain if you're in standstill, but for the most part, I don't find myself in that crazy traffic in Barbados, and the rest of the time, it's just fun to go through the gears. But if you're buying it, if I was getting the car to max out lap times, I would get automatic. Because I can't drive a manual as fast as I can drive automatic.
Okay.
So it depends on what you're optimizing for and how it feels to you, because you might find automatic more fun than a manual.
I just love the fact that on a proper vehicle, like a regular, well-spec'd new vehicle, dynamic cruise control, I'm in traffic, the car starts and stops and creeps on in traffic, and I have to do nothing. I experienced that in jelly. I wish to have that in my everyday life. Dynamic cruise control.
It's fun. Yeah, it's nice.
For an everyday, you turn on your AC.
But is that... Yeah, I guess it might be a worthy trade-off if because you're buying that car as a daily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a daily, not, if you can't say, oh, we suppose you want to have fun with it. Like,
It's still gonna be fun. Yeah, and it's still fun, automatic.
Yeah, it is.
So.
It would be one of the fastest vehicles on the road in Barbados. Like, it's still a 300 horsepower vehicle. Well, not in Barbados, but probably 200 in Barbados. Massive. Yeah, we'll see. Gas is a crazy thing. Gas quality and NOx sensors and blah 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 and things like that.
So why the GR Corolla?
Because it's still relatively fun. Like, there are a lot of things about it. So it is big enough that still I could say I can accommodate multiple humans in my vehicle without feeling discomfort. It's a car, but it's still a hatchback. It needs to be a hatchback car. It's like white estates are so popular. So has that functionality. It is quick. It is quick and as fast as you need for everyday Barbados roads. Anything above that horsepower amount and that 0-60 time. What are you doing? Yeah, right. What are you doing? I've driven a car that has 200 to the crank before, and it felt very, very quick. A vehicle that's 300 to the crank. Actually, have I ever driven one that's... I've never driven a car that is 300 to the crank. I only done 200 to the crank, and those felt very, very fast. Additionally, it is a Toyota. Toyota means I can service, reliable, and it's not paying the luxury tax. That's very important. And for Barbados, because of the duties brackets for vehicles, it fits very nicely into one of them. Depending on how you write on your document, you're in the lowest bracket for engine size, which is why there's so many 1.6 liter engines in Barbados, or below.
Is that the size of the 3 liter? Damn, that's tiny.
Yeah. So 1.6 liter, the Creta is 1.6, the Tucson down there is 1.6, the Kona down there is 1.6.
So the GR is a hack.
Yes. And it's a 1.6 liter. It's technically above by like 18 cc's. So as I said, depending on how you write on your documentation for duties, you might get away because that's a totally different tax bracket now. That's the 1.6 to 1.8 tax bracket.
So whoever put in that paperwork to say 1.59.
Yeah. Next thing is, suspension might be a little bit on the stiff side, but the tire sidewall look thick enough. Like on the Subaru, like what potholes is actually mashing the tires on that? Not many. And that sidewall thickness is what the same would be on a GR Corolla. It's a bigger rim, but still same profile. And resultant tire thickness. So that's good. Yeah, the responsible buy that still can be fun. The gas mileage, when I looked at it today, I was like, that might be a little bit low, to be honest with you. It might be 400 kilometers a single tank, which is on the lower side of my likings. I would love a vehicle to be 500 plus. The X5 is 800 single tank.
Well, if that's what you're looking for, I know some good hybrids on the market. Get you real far.
I'm looking for lots of things. And can the hybrids get me all those things?
I don't know. I haven't looked that close at them.
Yeah. Another vehicle I was looking at was the Audi Q4. The one with 35 in it. That was taking on what's but the issue with the Audi is dealership support in Barbados. There are no
luxury tax.
Luxury tax plus even if you were to deal with luxury tax, you still dealership in Barbados for Audi is non-existent. And I miss having Campbell. That's my everyday dealer to deal with my vehicle. See the struggles of finding somebody to deal with that BMW is pain. I'm hoping Campbell.
Why haven't you just taken it to the BMW dealer?
One, they stopped dealing with import vehicles and that's import. And two, they shafted the previous owner for that same vehicle.
Really?
Yeah. The reason why the front drag shaft broke is because mine did not replace the front drag shaft. In fact, actually, allegedly stole that front drag shaft. So yeah, my mom took it there to get changed.
It's a large allegation.
Yeah. Well, the allegation. The thing is, my guy took the BMW to Automotive to have various things done. One of them is to change the front drag shaft. The one that we took off when we bought the vehicle was not a Bilstein front drag shaft. It was just some other drag shaft.
Did he send it in with the part or something?
Yes, you had. He told me, yes, my Bilstein front drag shaft isn't even back. Please install that. Car came back without the drag shaft. And the drag shaft was not in the car.
Huh.
So,
well, that's quite something.
Indeed. And so I said allegedly, because we don't have any clear proof, but the stars are pointing, or whatever that idiom is.
No further comments on that.
Indeed, for sure. Moving on smartly. But the main thing is about that they don't accept working on import vehicles anymore.
Yes. So you're saying they don't like immigrants?
If you just wanted to download the podcast, that was a great way to end it. So
Have we done enough time? Where are we at?
It's 10 now.
How long is that?
Pretty sure it's like half hour at this point.
Half hour.
Maybe more. Oh yeah, hour and 8 minutes.
Yeah, we got another 10 in it. Let's keep it going. I wanted to ask you, what's the fastest car you've ever driven? Or the fastest car and the car with the most power, because that's two different things.
Might be the same for both. I mean, Jag.
Like the car that you could lap a track the fastest with, and then the car that...
different. That's not okay. Fastest car in terms of top speed.
No, that's not what we mean by fastest. I mean in terms of corners as well, like being able to get around a track.
Okay.
Fastest one lap car versus the most power. The Jag was probably the most power.
Yeah. I don't know how much that Jag was
I
pushing.
think it was around like 400 crank.
Yeah, well, that Jag was something special for sure. In many ways.
Supercharged V6.
Yeah.
F-Type S. Yeah.
Yes. Is that F-Type? Type S.
Sorry, not F-Type.
F-Pace?
F-Pace, yeah.
Type S.
F-Pace, Type S, yeah. The F-Type is the coupe.
Yeah. That I still remember, like, the car had so much acceleration. SUV was slouching, right? And you could feel
Sounded good too.
Yeah.
Hell of an exhaust on that.
And I had a nice little pops on buyings on overrun once it's hot enough. Had what actually good shifting mechanism whereby if you don't want it to shift up for you, it will not shift up. It will just...
Yeah, that was interesting that they made it like that.
And it's one of those... It was one of those smart systems where if you put it in smart mode, it will automatically shift up and down for you. The moment you shift down, it will no longer shift down for you, but it will still shift up.
Interesting.
And the moment if you shift up, it will no longer shift up for you, but it will still shift down. And obviously if you did both, you're now fully at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that vehicle was massive. Is massive. And horrible on gasoline. I remember the worst it was.
I can't even imagine.
One night, doing some pulls with it, quarter tank gone. From one night, on regular roads.
How much did it fill the tank?
No, that tank was, I think that was a $200 tank, maybe $250. Small Audi. Yo, one day I decided, let me do my dad a favor and fill up that Audi tank. Never again, wait. I would never in my life, in this economy, fill up that Audi tank. We're going, take a look.
The Audi 2015 Audi Q5?
Yeah.
How much was it to fill it?
I remember thinking it was like gas. It was all maybe. Go to the gas station and say, yeah, first click. Sorry, fill it with gasoline. I start putting it in. In my head I'm thinking, this might be a $200 tank. Usual stuff for these kind of vehicles. See it thing fly past 200. I was like, oh. Okay. 220. I was like, it's not a stop. 250. I was like, come on. Come on now. You think funny click at 260 or 265%? No.
Yo.
My mom come to me and say, first click or right there. I say, sir.
Yo.
Right there's good. 260 or 2. That was the biggest gas tank fill up I've ever done in my life. I don't understand why I've never seen that car fill tank.
Nah, I would. In this economy, with these gas prices now, it's probably a 300 tank for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
That was like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Nah, I don't.
I mean, that's nothing with some of these large trucks out here.
Yeah.
They're doing like $500 fill-ups and all types of crazy shit.
But there's a lot of corporate vehicles too. But so Jag is the fastest in straight line. However, around track, I feel pretty confident in Subaru. I feel pretty confident in Subaru.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But probably, unless like serious driver mod, I think the S12 is Subaru Impreza WRC S12. I think that'll be.
Well, that's the fast car you've been in, not the fast one you've driven.
Oh, true.
Yeah. But that's another, it's a good
Actually,
point as well.
Probably Caron's car is fastest and most horsepower. Because I think when we were in it, that was a 400 horsepower car.
400 to the wheels?
Yeah. When he did FL. Still don't make sense. There's only like 4 low. That still don't make sense, but not terrible. But that's another conversation for another day. Yeah, the sense don't make that. For the parts he had in. It's not over fishy there that he only stunning trees.
So what's happening with that car now?
Well, I'm probably chilling.
Haven't seen it out in quite a while.
Yeah, when I settled down, he achieved his goals and he was like, trying to
I saw he was selling it at one point, so I thought he had sold it because I hadn't seen him driving it in a while.
I don't know if it was sold. If it was sold, probably it was sold on down low. But my man bought a truck. He's investing fully in his businesses, and
The man's a businessman, you gotta respect
family
it.
man. Family man. He's now become domesticated.
It's the way to go.
Oh yeah. That's true. I have not seen Caron on the streets at all. Well.
Yeah, and I don't think since like the last set of drags.
Yeah, well, I've seen him since when Gio's car was finally being assembled.
He was in the car?
He pulled up to watch.
In the car?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good. I thought he could have pulled up in the truck too.
The truck hadn't riders yet.
Ah.
So he was still doing his fuel cell days of oh, that's so tough here. Oh my god,
That's commitment right there.
how you know your gas ain't low when it start keeping noise? How you know if you low? That's tough. And all it can hold is 5 gallons. Your regular tank, it's 15 gallons. Your fuel cells 5.
I was trying to think. I know the fastest car I've driven was the M4.
Okay.
I was trying to think of the fastest car I've been in, but
Probably same M4.
huh?
Probably same M4.
Nah. Fast car I've been driven in, not the fast car I've driven.
Okay.
Because I've gotten a couple quick cars in Trinidad.
Okay.
And they're all kind of around like the 500 horsepower mark, or I don't think any of them were turned up fully to like their 700 horsepower capabilities.
Okay.
Because they're running like regular fuel, not race fuel.
Okay.
But you could also argue the Porsche.
Yeah.
But it's not really set to be that quick compared to, I don't know. Well, would that beat a drift car on track? Probably. If you put a drift car on some slicks, like a
Absolutely
700
with it.
horsepower S15 on some slicks versus a Porsche rally car.
There's a reason why it decimates at the Nürburgring with 400, 500 horsepower.
But that's a different setup. I don't know if they're running that much power for the rally cars. Anyways, probably is a Porsche. I'd put my money on that. Speaking of Trinidad,
Yeah.
got a trip coming up soon.
Have you bought your ticket yet?
No. Have you bought yours?
I don't have a passport by yet. Nah, it's for collection. I didn't have a chance to collect it between Wednesday and Friday,
Fair enough.
and so I'll go tomorrow to get it, and then I'll be able to book my ticket with good conscience.
Yeah, Track Fest
That's what it's called,
2026.
right? Yeah, there we go.
Big event. I don't know what to expect because I've never been to an event over there. I've only been to practice. And what I experienced during practice was crazier than any drift event I've seen here.
Yeah,
So
put us to shame, unfortunately.
I can't imagine because Track Fest is a 2-day thing and they're gonna have drag racing,
100%.
track stuff, I think. I know they have drifting for sure.
I thought I just saw Dragon Drifts.
Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna be doing track, but huge car show as well, hella cars, all types of shit. Considering what we saw at the underground meet, I can't imagine because everybody's gonna want to show out for the man himself, Mr. Haggerty, Mr. Larry Chen.
Who is Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty is a.
So who is it?
I don't know if it's a name of a person, honestly.
I mean, like, who was the first or the person that would have gotten Haggerty off the ground? Because
I think it was Jason Camisa. I think he was doing stuff with them before Larry Chen became the real face of it. Anyways, Larry Chen's coming to Trinidad to cover that event and Trinity car culture. And yeah.
And you can't complain about lack of hardware this time around because you don't have a laptop.
I'm not complaining about anything. We're just enjoying the ride.
What?
I said I'm not complaining about anything. We're just gonna be enjoying it.
Before you were saying you couldn't produce the YouTube videos and stuff because you're not top.
Yeah, well, I guess we asked the question why we haven't done a podcast in so long. I guess because we've been struggling to keep up with putting out the amount of content we have due to hardware constraints, capturing and producing and editing.
Well,
because we have manpower constraints there, but so it goes. Just gotta
we gotta get interns to work for that. Yo, they gotta work for sure, boy.
Who?
The interns.
For what?
Yeah, Track Fest.
I'm just gonna have to pull some late nights, and
you don't want them to work.
I don't think they're gonna be able to
keep up.
Yeah, it's gonna. I don't know, because they don't have any real experience with.
We have
video editing
to get them up to speed, but
I prefer not to rely on people. I like to just get it done. The capability is there. We have the hardware, and I know I have the software. I haven't gone to the gym in a long time. I've got a lot of software.
Good night, folks.
Where are we at there?